You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Wednesday morning. I'm Carly Schultz.
Talk about fiery. I am Todd Pyro. Let's get right, though, to Garrett Tenney in Spanish Fort, Utah, with the latest on the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin. Garrett.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Yeah, this was a really interesting day yesterday where we learned a lot of new information on this case, and we also saw the suspect for the first time appear in court. The only time that he spoke was when he confirmed his name. He was wearing a special suicide prevention vest, and he showed no emotion as the judge read off the charges against him. These are the charges he's facing, the most significant of which is aggravated murder. And the Utah County District Attorney says he will be seeking the death penalty in this case. Ahead of that hearing, the DA laid out the charges and a lot of the evidence that they have gathered so far against the alleged assassin, including his DNA on the trigger of the rifle used to kill Charlie Kirk. Prosecutors also shared text messages between the suspect, Tyler Robinson, and his romantic partner, where Robinson confessed to the shooting.
Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I'm sorry. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
The suspect went on to say that he'd hoped to carry this crime to his deathbed and asked his lover to delete their text and not talk to police. Yesterday on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Kash Patel said investigators are tracking down each and every person who the accused killer had been in touch with leading up to and after the shooting, including those that he spoke to online.
Number of individuals that are currently being investigated and interrogated, and a number yet to be investigated and interrogated specific to that chat room. So we are very much in our ongoing posture of investigation.
So others could have been involved?
Yes, sir.
At this point, no one else has been charged in this case, but prosecutors say that that could change as this investigation continues. The suspect's next court date is September 29th. Todd?
All right, Garrett Tenney live for us in Spanish Fork. Garrett, thank you. Let's bring in constitutional law attorney and former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkasky. Katie, there was a lot in the press conference yesterday ahead of Robinson's first court appearance, in particular those text messages between Robinson and his romantic partner. What was your takeaway from what we learned yesterday?
Well, it looks like they have a very rock-solid case factually here. I mean, they even have the suspect making statements about the motive, about the planning, about the obstruction, attempting to tamper with witnesses, asking them not to cooperate with the police. So in terms of the elements that the prosecution has to prove, it's pretty obvious that they have evidence to support all of that. The big question is whether they can get the death penalty, and that's another calculation altogether.
And to that point, the defense is going to have to come up with unique, novel arguments. To that point, are you concerned that the defense is going to say, look, all the information disclosed by the prosecutors yesterday could have potentially tainted the jury pool in that area of Utah, necessitating a change of venue?
Well, the defense is always going to make any arguments that they possibly can to ensure that their client has a fair trial and a fair process. I do not think that this information is going to be enough to change the venue. There's always going to be people that are in a local area that may or may not be following something very closely. Some people don't even follow local news that closely. So that's a hypothetical that is possible, but I don't think it's a real significant concern, and there's still an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to ask you about that as well. I mean, you go back to the text messages, the Discord messages admitting to this assassination, the picture of the letter that he apparently wrote his romantic partner saying, I did it, I'm going to do it. What could the defense possibly be?
Well, the defense always boils down to either factual defenses or legal and procedural defenses. So, of course, the prosecution has to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Right now, even though we have what we think is very rock-solid evidence, colloquially speaking, they still have to prove that in court. And so the prosecution has to make sure that everything is done properly, that there's no discovery violations, meaning that they turn over everything that they have that's required to the defense. There's a lot of different things that happen in criminal trials on the procedural side that need to be properly necessarily gone through.
Moving past Robinson for a second, based upon what you've seen so far, are you anticipating any charges against the lover, whom we have been told has been cooperating with authorities, or any of the people on Discord with whom Robinson allegedly communicated?
Well, it looks like the romantic partner seemed very genuinely shocked based on at least the snippet of the exchange that the DA read off yesterday. So I don't believe that there's any indication that they're involved. Of course, that's not off the table, and this is an ongoing investigation. So certainly, as of right now, no with that. With anybody else that might have been involved in any of the planning whatsoever or was aware of it, certainly the charges could be brought against them. So digital analysis does take some time to go through and ensure that they have all the evidence. They could certainly charge other people.
And the messages between them were very strange. I mean, if you look back and read through it, when he says, you know, I did it, the romantic partner's reaction was, I thought they caught the guy, not, are you insane? Are you kidding me? How could you? Not criminal, but just a very bizarre exchange between these two people.
I agree. It is certainly less shocked than somebody might imagine. Of course, looking at text messages, some things can be taken out of context. Right. I think the justification is the circular ideology on its face, that because there's so much hate, I get to engage in violence. That is a justification that some people genuinely think is legally authorized, it seems, and perhaps the roommate has some of the same sentiment, but I don't know if there's any sort of connection to the actual crime based on those messages.
Quickly, before we let you go, going to a completely different case, a federal judge in New York throwing out terrorism charges against alleged United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione. Legally, was this the correct decision?
I always thought that was a reach on those charges. The terrorism statute in New York is modeled after the federal terrorism statute, and the New York appellate courts have been clear that the terrorism designator is what is generally known as terrorism. It doesn't apply to any sort of murder that is even maybe motivated by some ideological purpose. So I was always a bit concerned that that was an overreach in the first place. And of course, he's facing the death penalty on the federal side. So this does reduce the New York case, but he still has significant exposure.
Yeah, and it should be pointed out that when this was announced by the judge, cheers erupted outside the court after the judge dropped these two charges, these terror charges against him. Not somebody who deserves those cheers, but they are certainly happening. Katie Cherkasky,
that's a lot.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Katie.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.